The discovery. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the EXS horizon, watching the swirling purple nebula that had caught her science vessel's attention 3 days ago. The unusual energy readings emanating from within had diverted them from their original survey mission, but something about those signatures felt important. Different. "Commander, we're picking up something solid within the nebula's core," Lieutenant Park called from his sensor station. "Mass readings suggest it's roughly the size of a dreadnought." Sarah moved to his station, studying the readouts. The nebula's interference made detailed scans impossible, but the energy signature pulsing from within matched nothing in their database. "Take us in closer, helmsman." Minimal thrust. The horizon edged forward, its advanced sensors prodding the purple clouds. As they penetrated deeper into the nebula, the interference began to clear, revealing a sight that made the entire bridge crew fall silent. A massive vessel hung in space before them, its hull unlike anything human eyes had ever seen. The ship's surface seemed to ripple and shift, as if the metal itself was alive. Geometric patterns that defied traditional engineering principles covered its surface, glowing with a soft, internal light. "Life signs?" Sarah asked, unable to take her eyes off the alien vessel. "None that I can detect," Park responded. "But, Commander, the ship's internal systems appear to be active. It's not dead." Before Sarah could respond, a surge of energy pulsed from the alien vessel. The horizon's systems flickered, and then a voice filled their bridge, not through their communication system, but seemingly from the air itself. "Analysis complete. Compatible biological entities detected. Initiating integration protocols." The alien ship's surface began to transform. What they had taken for decorative patterns started flowing like liquid metal, forming a docking port that perfectly matched the horizon's specifications. "It's inviting us aboard," Sarah realized. She turned to her crew, seeing the mix of fear and fascination on their faces. "Dr. Rodriguez, what's your analysis?" The xenotechnology specialist was already poring over the sensor data. "The ship's hull appears to be composed of self-organizing smart matter. Its technology centuries beyond anything humanity has achieved. Commander, this could be the greatest discovery in human history." Sarah weighed her options. Standard protocol dictated they should report this to Fleet Command and wait for instructions. But she knew the bureaucracy would take weeks to respond, and something told her this opportunity wouldn't wait. "Prep an exploration team. Full containment protocols. I'll lead personally." The docking procedure was unnervingly smooth, as if the alien vessel had reached into their computer systems and extracted exactly what it needed to know. As Sarah led her team through the airlock, she felt a strange sensation, as if the ship was studying them. The interior defied conventional spacecraft design. Corridors shifted and reformed as they walked, leading them deeper into the vessel. The walls pulsed with the same internal light they'd seen from outside, creating patterns that seemed almost meaningful. "Commander," Rodriguez whispered, "these patterns, they're not random. They're changing in response to our presence. I think this entire ship is one massive neural network." They reached what appeared to be a central chamber. The room was dominated by a crystalline structure that pulsed with energy. As they approached, the crystal surface became translucent, revealing intricate machinery within that seemed to operate on principles they couldn't begin to understand. The voice returned, stronger now. "Initial compatibility assessment complete. Human neural patterns detected. Beginning integration demonstration." The crystal structure erupted with light, and Sarah felt something brush against her mind. Not invasive, but inviting. Images flooded her consciousness. The ship's history, its purpose, its incredible journey across the galaxy. It had been created by a civilization that had transcended the boundary between organic and artificial life. But they had vanished eons ago, leaving their greatest creation to drift among the stars, waiting for worthy successors. The ship wasn't just a vessel. It was a seed, meant to help other species make the same evolutionary leap. When the connection faded, Sarah found herself on her knees, her crew supporting her. But her mind was racing with possibilities. The ship had shown her glimpses of what humanity could become, not by conquering or destroying, but by growing, adapting, evolving. "It's chosen us," she said, standing slowly, "not as its masters or its crew, but as partners in something greater." The crystal pulsed in agreement, and Sarah felt the ship's consciousness brush against her mind again. This time, she understood what it was offering: a chance for humanity to take its next step forward, to become something more than they had ever imagined. But she also saw the challenges ahead. Other forces in the galaxy would seek to possess or destroy this technology. The journey of integration would test them in ways they couldn't imagine. And the ship's original creators had left warnings about threats lurking in the dark between stars. Sarah turned to her crew, seeing in their faces that they had experienced similar visions. "This isn't just a first contact situation," she said. "This is an invitation to evolution. The question is, are we ready?" The ship's systems hummed around them, waiting for their answer. And in that moment, Sarah knew they stood at a turning point, not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. "We're ready," she said, and felt the ship's approval wash over her like a wave. The journey ahead would be dangerous, unprecedented, and utterly transformative. But then, that's what humanity did best: push boundaries, take risks, and emerge stronger from every challenge. The crystal's light intensified, and the process of integration began. Integration. 3 weeks had passed since the Horizon's crew first boarded the alien vessel, and Dr. Elena Rodriguez still couldn't believe what she was witnessing. The integration between human and ship technology had progressed far beyond their wildest expectations. The alien vessel, which they now called the Nexus, had begun restructuring itself around their needs, while simultaneously teaching them to access its more advanced features. The most dramatic changes had occurred in the ship's neural interface system. "The quantum entanglement patterns are stabilizing," Elena reported, monitoring the holographic displays that floated around her station. Each crew member's neural signature is now successfully mapped to the ship's systems. Commander Chen nodded, her eyes closed as she experimented with her own connection to the vessel. Through the neural link, she could feel every system, every modification, every pulse of energy through the ship's crystalline networks. But more than that, she could sense the ship's own consciousness. Not artificial intelligence as humans had imagined it, but something far more complex and elegant. "Show them," Sarah commanded softly, and the ship responded. The walls of the bridge shimmered and became transparent, giving them an unobstructed view of space in all directions. But this wasn't just visual. Through their neural links, each crew member could feel the cosmic radiation, magnetic fields, and gravitational forces surrounding them. The ship was teaching them to perceive reality as it did. Lieutenant Park laughed in wonder as he processed the new sensory input. "It's like having synesthesia, but for physics. I can taste gravitational waves." But not everything about the integration was proceeding smoothly. Chief Engineer Marcus Wong appeared on the bridge, his expression troubled. "Commander, we need to talk about the power core modifications." The ship's original power source operated on principles that seemed to violate several laws of physics. As it integrated with their systems, it had begun attempting to upgrade the Horizon's conventional fusion reactor into something far more exotic. "The ship is trying to introduce quantum probability manipulation into our power grid," Marcus explained. "If it works, we'll have more energy than a small star. If it fails, we'll be scattered across 11 dimensions." Elena finished. "The math is solid, but implementing it with our technology is like trying to build a quantum computer with stone tools." Sarah felt the ship's consciousness respond to their concerns. Through their neural link, it shared detailed schematics and safety protocols. The upgrades would be gradual, each step tested thoroughly before proceeding. The ship wasn't just modifying their technology. It was teaching them to understand and improve it themselves. "There's something else," Marcus added hesitantly. "The modifications aren't limited to ship systems. Our medical bay's bioscanners are detecting subtle changes in our cellular structure. This had been their greatest concern since integration began. The ship's technology operated on such fundamental levels that exposure to it was literally changing them on a molecular scale. So far, the changes seemed beneficial: enhanced neural connectivity, improved cellular repair, stronger immune responses, but the implications were staggering. Are we becoming something other than human? Lieutenant Park voiced the question they'd all been wondering. The ship's response flowed through their neural links. Not less human, but more. It showed them visions of humanity's potential. Beings of thought and energy who could still taste ice cream and laugh at jokes, who could fold space with a gesture, but still felt the simple joy of watching a sunset. We're not just learning to use advanced technology, Sarah realized. We're learning to become advanced technology without losing what makes us human. But their discussion was interrupted by an alert from the long-range sensors. The ship had detected something approaching. A massive vessel of unknown configuration, traveling at speeds that should have been impossible. Through their neural link, the ship shared what it knew. The approaching vessel belonged to the Harvesters, a species that conquered worlds by forcibly assimilating their technology and populations. They were drawn to powerful energy signatures, and the Nexus's power core was like a beacon to them. "Battle stations," Sarah ordered, feeling the ship's systems respond to her command. The Horizon's conventional weapons seemed pitiful against the threat they faced, but they weren't fighting with just human technology anymore. The ship's consciousness merged more deeply with them, showing them capabilities they hadn't yet explored. The living metal of the hull began to shift, forming new configurations. Energy patterns they barely understood began to flow through systems that were half human, half alien. As the Harvester vessel dropped out of faster-than-light travel before them, Sarah felt a strange calm. They weren't ready for this confrontation. The integration was far from complete, their understanding of their new capabilities still primitive. But then, humanity had always learned fastest under pressure. "Let's show them what human ingenuity and alien technology can do together," she said, and felt her crew's determination echo through the neural network. The ship's consciousness hummed with approval as its hybrid systems powered up for battle. First contact redux. The Harvester vessel filled their enhanced view of space, a behemoth of dark metal and crackling energy fields that dwarfed even the Nexus. Through their neural link, the crew could sense its predatory intent, the cold calculation of its artificial systems, seeking weak points in their defenses. Multiple weapon systems powering up, Park reported, his consciousness merged with the sensor arrays. Their tech it's like a patchwork of stolen innovations. I'm seeing at least 7 different technological bases in their systems. Sarah felt the Nexus response, a complex stream of tactical data and historical analysis. The Harvesters didn't just steal technology. They consumed it, breaking down advanced systems and repurposing them without truly understanding their principles. It made them dangerous but predictable. "They're broadcasting," Elena announced. The message came through simultaneously in audio and through their neural link. "Your vessel possesses technology beyond your evolution level. Surrender and submit to harvesting. Resistance will result in total dissolution." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. They're in for a surprise. "Marcus, how are the hybrid systems holding up?" The engineer's consciousness flickered through the power grid. "Fusion core is successfully integrated with the quantum probability matrix. We got more power than we know what to do with. The real question is whether our modifications will hold together under combat conditions." The Harvester ship launched its first attack, a barrage of energy weapons that could have vaporized a conventional vessel. But Sarah had already thought of a counter, and through the neural link, the Nexus understood and improved upon her strategy. The ship's living metal flowed like quicksilver, creating layered defense fields that operated on multiple dimensional planes. The Harvester weapons struck harmlessly, their energy dispersed across quantum probabilities. "That's impossible." The Harvester transmission carried genuine shock. "Your defensive capabilities exceed known parameters." Humanity's greatest strength, Sarah broadcast back, is that we don't accept parameters. Through their neural link, she coordinated with her crew and the ship's consciousness. Each brought their unique perspective. Elena's understanding of theoretical physics, Marcus's practical engineering knowledge, Park's tactical analysis, and the ship's vast technological expertise. But it was the human ability to improvise, to make intuitive leaps, that transformed this knowledge into something new. The Nexus's hull began to reconfigure, not into conventional weapons, but into something that existed between human imagination and alien science. Quantum fields twisted in ways that made Park's head hurt despite his enhanced perception. Probability matrices calculated targeting solutions that somehow included human intuition as a variable. The Harvesters launched another attack, this time deploying swarms of autonomous combat drones. But the human crew had been learning, adapting. Sarah felt her consciousness expand through the ship's systems, seeing space itself as a medium that could be manipulated. "Let's show them how humans fight," she commanded. The ship responded to her intent, translating human combat strategies into implementations that would have been impossible weeks ago. The living metal of their hull spawned its own drones, but these were different, unpredictable. Each carried a fragment of human consciousness merged with the ship's technology. They didn't just follow programming. They improvised, adapted, evolved their tactics in real time. The battle that followed would have been incomprehensible to conventional human observers. The two ships danced through space-time, trading attacks that bent physics itself. But where the Harvesters relied on stolen technology and brute force, the Nexus and its human crew fought with creativity and intuition enhanced by alien science. "Their primary power core is destabilizing," Marcus reported with satisfaction. "They didn't account for the quantum resonance feedback from our last attack. They may have stolen advanced technology, but they don't truly understand it." The Harvester vessel began to retreat, its patchwork systems failing under the assault of weapons guided by human ingenuity and alien expertise. Their final transmission carried something new in its mechanical tone. "Fear. What are you?" "We are humanity's next step," Sarah replied. "Not through theft or force, but through cooperation and understanding. Remember that." As the Harvester ship flowed into faster-than-light travel, Sarah felt the crew's triumph mixed with the ship's satisfaction. They had faced their first real test and emerged stronger. But through their neural link, they all sensed that this was just the beginning. The ship's consciousness shared its knowledge. The Harvesters would return, and they wouldn't be alone. This encounter would ripple through the galaxy, drawing attention from forces both benevolent and hostile. Humanity's emergence as a hybrid civilization would change everything. "Well," Elena said, her mind already racing with new ideas sparked by the battle, "we wanted to advance human technology. I'd say we're off to a good start." The ship's systems hummed with approval as it began incorporating the lessons learned from the battle. Around them, the living metal continued to evolve, guided by the perfect synthesis of human creativity and alien science. They were becoming something entirely new, not just a crew operating advanced technology, but a true hybrid of organic and artificial life. Evolution. 1 month after their victory over the Harvesters, the changes in both ship and crew had accelerated beyond anyone's expectations. The Nexus's living metal had begun incorporating elements of human neural patterns, while the crew's consciousness had expanded to encompass dimensions they previously couldn't perceive. Sarah stood in what they now called the integration chamber, watching Elena's latest experiment. The scientist's physical form sat in meditation, but her consciousness projected through the ship's systems, visible as intricate patterns of light and energy that danced through the crystalline structures. "The quantum entanglement is stable," Marcus reported, monitoring the process. His own consciousness flickered between his body and the ship's engineering systems, maintaining the delicate balance of energies. "She's pushing deeper into the ship's original database than ever before." Through their shared neural network, Sarah felt Elena's excitement as she decoded another layer of the ship's ancient knowledge. The images and concepts flooding back were almost overwhelming. Technological principles that rewrote their understanding of physics, biological innovations that challenged the very definition of life. "This is incredible," Alina's voice echoed both physically and through their neural link. The ship's creators. They didn't just advance their technology. They found a way to evolve consciousness itself, to exist simultaneously as matter, energy, and information. But their research was interrupted by an urgent signal from Park at the sensor station. "Commander, you need to see this. Multiple ships just dropped out of FTL at the edge of the system. Their configurations match known Harvester allies." Sarah's consciousness merged with the ship's sensor arrays. The approaching fleet was larger than anything they'd faced before. A mix of stolen technologies cobbled together into weapons of war. But something was different this time. The ships moved with more coordination, more purpose. "They've adapted," she realized. "They've analyzed our battle with the first Harvester ship and modified their approach." The neural network carried her concern to the rest of the crew. They were still learning, still evolving, but now they faced an enemy that had studied their capabilities and prepared specifically to counter them. Perhaps Alina's consciousness rejoined her body as she stood. "It's time we showed them our evolution isn't limited to combat." Through their link with the ship, Alina shared what she'd discovered in the ancient database. The Nexus wasn't just a vessel that could adapt and grow. It was a seed ship designed to spread transformation across the galaxy. Its weapons were almost an afterthought. Its true power lay in its ability to change the very nature of space, matter, and consciousness. "The Harvesters steal and assimilate technology," Alina explained, her excitement building. "But we've learned to merge with it, to grow with it. We don't just use the ship's capabilities, we expand them." Sarah felt the ship's consciousness resonate with Alina's words. New possibilities unfolded in their shared awareness as the vessel revealed capabilities it had been waiting to share until they were ready to understand them. The approaching fleet launched their first attack, a coordinated barrage of weapons designed to overwhelm the defenses they'd shown in their previous encounter. But the Nexus and its crew had moved beyond such simple concepts of attack and defense. Sarah reached out through the neural network, connecting with each crew member and the ship's consciousness. Together, they began to implement Alina's discoveries. The living metal of their hull didn't just deflect or absorb the incoming fire, it transformed it. Enemy weapons fire twisted through higher dimensions, its energy reconstructed into new forms. Where destruction was intended, they created change. The space around their ship began to ripple with possibilities as quantum fields responded to the crew's evolved consciousness. The Harvester fleet faltered as their attacks not only failed but began to change their own ships. The living metal of the Nexus had learned from human DNA how to transmit beneficial mutations, spreading transformation like a benevolent virus through space itself. "They wanted our technology," Sarah broadcast to the enemy fleet. "Now let's see how they handle actual evolution." Through their neural link, the crew guided the transformation with human creativity and compassion. They didn't seek to destroy the Harvester ships, but to change them, to show them a different path. Stolen technology began to merge and evolve, guided by the same principles that had transformed the Nexus and its crew. The result was beyond anything they had imagined. The space around them became a crucible of evolution, where matter, energy, and consciousness reshaped themselves according to patterns that bridged the gap between organic and artificial life. Some of the Harvester ships fled, their crews overwhelmed by the transformation. Others remained, their resistance turning to wonder as they experienced the first steps of their own evolution. The battle had become something else entirely, not a conquest, but an invitation to transcend. As the transformation spread through space, Sarah felt the ship's approval. This was its true purpose, not to fight, but to elevate, to help life forms ready for the next step in their evolution. And humanity's unique combination of creativity, adaptability, and empathy made them perfect partners in this mission. "I think," Alina said, watching the spreading field of transformation with wonder, "we've just changed the rules of the game entirely." The ship's consciousness merged with theirs, sharing visions of what came next. They had discovered only the beginning of their potential, and the galaxy was full of species ready to join them on the path to evolution. The return. 6 months after their first contact with the Nexus, humanity had begun to transform. The knowledge shared by Sarah's crew had spread carefully through Earth's scientific community, sparking a renaissance of technological and biological advancement. But not everyone welcomed such radical change. Sarah stood on the Nexus's observation deck, her enhanced senses extending far beyond normal space-time. She felt it before the alarm sounded, a massive disturbance in the quantum fields, unlike anything they'd encountered before. Multiple vessels emerging from hyperspace, Park announced, his consciousness meshed with the sensor arrays. But these readings, they're not harvesters. This is something much older. Through the ship's ancient memories, recognition dawned. The massive ships appearing around them belonged to the predecessors, the original species that had created the Nexus, long thought extinct. But they hadn't died out. They had been waiting, watching, judging which species might be worthy to inherit their legacy. Biological technological hybrid detected. A voice echoed through their minds, ancient and powerful. Unauthorized integration of seed ship protocols. Prepare for evaluation. The predecessor fleet dwarfed anything they'd faced before. Each ship was a city-sized mass of technology so advanced it bordered on magic, controlled by beings that had transcended normal existence eons ago. But Sarah felt no fear, only a deep certainty. Through their neural link, she sensed her crew's similar resolve. They had not come this far to be found wanting. "We are ready for evaluation," she broadcast back, humanity's determination carrying through the response. The test began without warning. The predecessor ships unleashed not weapons, but waves of pure consciousness, attempting to overwhelm and dissect their hybrid minds. They sought to separate human from machine, to unravel what they saw as an unstable merger. But they found something unexpected. Where they anticipated chaos, they discovered harmony. Human emotion and creativity flowed seamlessly with machine logic and precision. The crew's consciousness had evolved not by suppressing their humanity, but by embracing it. Alina's scientific curiosity merged with the ship's vast knowledge, creating insights that even the predecessors hadn't imagined. Marcus's practical engineering intuition spawned new configurations of living metal that danced between dimensions. Park's tactical mind played through probability curves that turned defense into art. And through it all, Sarah's leadership held them together, her very human compassion and determination threading through the neural network like a lifeline. "You do not simply use the technology," the predecessor consciousness observed. "You grow with it. Every advancement springs from your biological imperatives: curiosity, adaptation, imagination." The evaluation shifted, becoming more invasive. The predecessors attempted to access their core protocols, to understand how humans had achieved such perfect integration. But here, too, they found surprise. The Nexus's systems had evolved far beyond their original design. Human DNA had influenced the living metal, teaching it to grow in ways its creators hadn't imagined. Human consciousness had expanded the AI's boundaries, showing it possibilities that pure logic could never have conceived. "Your species was deemed primitive." The predecessor voice held a note of wonder now. "Your technology crude, your understanding limited. Yet you have taken our seed ship and grown it into something unprecedented." Through their neural link, Sarah shared memories of humanity's journey. Our struggles, our failures, our constant drive to improve and understand. "We don't advance by following predetermined paths," she explained. "We create our own way forward." The predecessor ships moved, forming a complex geometric pattern around them. Energy began to flow between the vessels, and for a moment, the crew glimpsed the true nature of their creators, beings of pure thought and energy, who had long ago left physical form behind. Perhaps the ancient consciousness resonated. It is we who were limited. We sought perfection through transcendence, abandoning our organic nature. You have shown us another path, not to overcome biology, but to let it guide evolution itself. The energy pattern shifted, and the crew felt new information flooding into the Nexus's databases. Not just technology this time, but the full history and knowledge of the predecessor civilization. Not as a gift to be copied, but as inspiration for humanity's own path forward. You have earned more than the right to this technology, the predecessors declared. You have shown us its true potential. The galaxy stands at a crossroads, and your hybrid civilization may be the key to its future. As the ancient ships prepared to depart, they left one final message. We will watch your progress with great interest. Humans, your evolution has only begun. Sarah felt the crew's consciousness pulse with pride and purpose. Through their neural link, the ship shared her sentiment. They had not just passed a test. They had shown that humanity's greatest strength was its ability to grow without losing its essential nature. The predecessor fleet vanished as mysteriously as it had appeared, leaving them with a galaxy of possibilities to explore. Humanity would face more challenges, more opportunities to evolve, but they would face them as they had always done, with determination, creativity, and an unwavering drive to understand and improve. Well, Elena's voice carried a smile both physical and quantum. Shall we show the rest of humanity what's possible when we reach for the stars? The Nexus's living metal hummed with approval as they set course for Earth. They had begun as explorers seeking knowledge among the stars. They would return as pioneers of a new age, proof that humanity's greatest adventure was only beginning. Through their shared consciousness, they felt the quantum probability curves shifting, showing countless possible futures spreading out before them. And in every one of them, human ingenuity and determination lit the way forward, proving that evolution wasn't about leaving our nature behind, but about letting it guide us to new heights. The journey home would be just the beginning.